Welcome to episode 3 of Soccerheads New England. We're going to call this one, Jim is Naked and Afraid, Alone on Cape Cod, Angry at the Airlines. I'm Dave Rattigan, comedian, college professor, and recovering soccer kidnapping and torture victim in recovery. I'm with Paul Nardizzi and Jim Ruberti, both comedians and former college soccer players who've taken too many soccer balls to the head. The Revolution looked great over the weekend. They won again. And as I've been saying all year, this could be their season. The reason I say that, bragging rights. If they do win, I want full credit for saying they were going to win closest to the championship of all the New England sports, blah, 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 blah. And if I'm wrong, people will just forget it anyway. So today's topics, the Revs are rolling. Do in-season favorites usually win the MLS championships? Number 2, we're going to talk about the MLS's continued struggle in the CONCACAF National Soccer League. And we'll start with that acronym, CONCACAF. Seriously? 8 letters, CONCACAF. Number 3, we'll be talking about high school sweepers. Is that formation obsolete? And number 4, youth soccer coaching in the age of woke parents. Finally, we'll wrap up with a discussion of handballs and other new international rule changes. And I think when we talk about new rules governing handballs, we might as well back up the truck for all the awards we're going to win for this one. Because nothing says scintillating talk like handball rules. We'll also talk to Jim. Paul, you're going to like this, about how he didn't stay with a Hollywood producer last weekend and instead sent his wife by herself to Los Angeles, the den of sin in the United States if we don't count Florida. Jim, what did you do this weekend in Cape Cod?
Dave, I was naked and afraid.
And that, of course, is a reference to the producer he was supposed to stay with. And instead, he was naked and afraid on Cape Cod. And where did you go, naked and afraid? Did you run into the woods?
I actually Ubered to Puritan Clothing in Hyannis, naked and afraid. And like I said to you before, naked and afraid was a classic description of my wife on our honeymoon.
All right, so we'll talk about that, not about your honeymoon, but about your whole, and I know this story, it's hysterically funny, I think, but first we'll talk about that later and about all the actual soccer stuff, but first, plugs, the most important part of the show. Listeners, I'm going to give you a phone number, and I want you to write it down. Do you have a pen? How about now? Not in your pockets? Try the drawer. The table? How about the nightstand? You got it? Good. The number? 978-857-7573. That's the number for financial advisor Rick Spencer, sponsor of Soccerheads New England. Do you want your child to have the best opportunities life has to offer? If college is in their future, you may have noticed that college is expensive. And if you're not rich, like Jim Ruberti or Paul Nardizzi, you should have a financial game plan. For years, financial consultant Rick Spencer has been speaking to parents at free seminars for soccer clubs, youth leagues, and the general public. He's helped thousands of students from all over New England get into the right school for them at the right cost by crafting the best strategy for each individual student. Rick's the father of soccer players, so he's been there. He's also my financial consultant, and I can testify that without Rick's help, if I hope to get my 15-year-old into college, I'd have been left with just one other financial strategy, identity theft. Instead, Rick has helped me. He can help you. To have Rick come speak to your club, team, league, or group, or to check out one of his free seminars in your area, call him at 978-857-7573. Rick Spencer, financial advisor and sponsor of Soccerheads New England. Also, here's a second plug. If your soccer league, team, or club needs to raise money and you want to have a great time doing it, you should hire the Soccerheads Experience. The Soccerheads Experience is more than a comedy show. It's a great fundraising event that your community will never forget. First, you'll get your 3 favorite comedians, Paul Nardizzi, Jim Ruberti, and me, Dave Rattigan, hosts of Soccerheads New England. You'll get a lot of soccer-focused humor, and a great show from comedians who've appeared on XM, Sirius, Conan, Comedy Central, the Best Damn Sports Show, period, and the NESN Comedy All-Stars. And you get a lot more. We'll provide everything you need. Stage, sound system, stage lights. Jim will MC your event and handle announcements, raffles, and an auction. We'll have prizes for a couple of lucky winners from your group. And after the show, we'll get together with your committee and break out a giant soccer ball, and then we'll write down the amount of money that you made from your event. But that's not all. We've been fundraising a long time. We can help you from start to finish with designs of posters and tickets, a Facebook event page, an online box office to collect the cash, and best of all, we'll share our knowledge from years in the fundraising business. It'll help maximize your profit potential, but more than a fundraiser, the Soccerheads experience is an unforgettable event. So get the ball rolling with Soccerheads New England and the Soccerheads experience. Send an email to me, Dave at Scamps Comedy. That's Scamps, SCAMPS comedy.com, and we'll get it rolling. Now, we're going to find out about Jim's weekend, in which he sent his wife to Satan's favorite city while he stayed in the Cape. But first, let's talk about football. And number one topic, Paul, the Revs are rolling. And my question is, do in-season favorites usually win the MLS championship, Jim?
Yeah, Dave, you know how you said you're going to bet the house on the Revolution this year?
Yep.
Let's say they've been there 5 times. How many times do you think they've won?
I know how many times they've won.
They're 0-5.
Yep.
So you're taking your neck out. So I did a little bit of research, and less than 50% of the regular season champions in MLS actually win the MLS Cup.
Paul, tell Jim he's wrong.
I hope he's wrong. I think that's why they got Bruce Arena, because I think that they have a good team like they've had in the past, but he's actually shown that he can come up with a game plan to win those type of games that you're going to be involved in.
Good point.
They're going for the most points ever in a season, and we've seen teams in soccer and in hockey do this, where they race to get this record, like the President's Trophy in hockey, and then they flop. So I think they should just go for it anyways, because A, it's a record. B, I bet on it, so I need them to come through. And C, if you get the most points, the Supporters' Shield, you automatically qualify for the CONCACAF. So it's sort of a win-win either way. So go for it. Try to do it while resting people, and then let's see if Jim's going to be right or wrong. But it is hard. It's hard to sustain that all the way through the fall.
And, you know, anything in this league, anything can happen. I mean, look at the Revolution's last game. They win 2-1, and they had one shot on net.
They had one shot on net?
Yep, there was an own goal.
Wait a minute.
There was an own goal.
Okay.
And the other shot on net went in.
Yep.
They hit the crossbar. Doesn't count as a shot on net.
Okay.
And the good news is where I might lean with you, Paul, where they might have a chance, is because they get the best keeper in all of soccer, and he made a save on a penalty kick the other night.
But a terrible shot, nonetheless.
Oh, it was a terrible shot, but, you know, hey, with this, you know, you wouldn't know this, but, you know, we have to guess sometimes, Paul, where the shot's going. Sometimes we guess correctly. I, myself, was 0 for 15 in penalty shots taken against me.
Were you?
Yes. Yes.
You really?
0 for 15.
0 for 15?
0 for 15.
Did you?
I guessed wrong every single time.
That's amazing. I mean, that's a record. That's statistically impossible.
I almost knew it was going in anyway, right? Whenever I had zero confidence after the first 10 went by me.
When you don't stand right in the middle and they stand a little. Did you stand too far over to one side, or was it pretty obvious which way?
No, I tried everything, Paul. Christ, standing on my head, laying on the ground. I tried to do everything to distract the shooter.
Did you stand in front of the shooter?
Here's the best statistic.
I
took one penalty shot, the goalie saved it, and I kicked the rebound into my left foot, which I didn't have at the time.
Why are you taking a penalty
1 for 1? Because my coach felt bad for me for giving up 15 penalty shots, so he figured, you know what, let's let you take one. And I knew the goalie was going to save that too, so the confidence was really dripping in me when this happened. Goalie saves it, I went running in, and I put it in literally with my left foot, unexpectedly. And we were up 3-1 late in the game, and he let me come up and take it. But still, he did feel terrible that I could never save a penalty shot.
Yeah, 0 for 15. Were you so you were standing in front of the net? I mean, I don't know how. I mean, when you guessed, did you guess he was going to shoot wide and just run to the side?
No. I mean, obviously, you have a chance, and we've seen it before, like we saw in the World Cup, where people will actually miss the net. People will actually try to place it too far. But no, this was literally me standing there 6 yards away from a soccer ball, diving to my right, to my left, staying still, bouncing, everything, no matter what happened, it was a wrong decision. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a couple that went off my hands that went in. You know, there were a couple that were great shots, but it was just mainly.
Did you say 6 yards? Did they move it back?
Whatever it was. What is it? It's too freaking close. That's why it stinks.
6 yards away.
It was too close regardless. You guys, you freaking people you guys miss a penalty kick, you got some major problems with you because you know, Dave, you've stood there for
15. 0 for 15?
0 for 15.
0 for 15?
Dave, you know what that's like with women.
I think we should find someone to take some shots on him so he can make a save and feel good about it.
Yeah, we'll find somebody to take a shot.
I feel like this is been a lifelong thing that's starting to depress
you know, I think I got a pretty good chance against you two at this age now.
That's fine. I might kick it right at you just to let you save it.
Yeah.
There were 2 of those as well.
They shot it right at you?
I dove. I guessed.
Yeah.
You would guess?
Right where I was standing.
Did you ever think, like, maybe open your eyes?
Did you ever think I talked to my team and said, don't do anything stupid in the box because I'm not going to save the ball? How about that conversation?
Yeah, that must have been an interesting one. They must have filled them with confidence.
Yeah, it was terrifying. After about the 7th one, I had zero confidence. I knew what the hell I was doing. It was like, why
am I
not
picked a side and stood there? Did anyone ever go down the middle and you would have saved that?
Oh, there was
twice.
A couple times. A couple times it was shot right where I was standing. But, you know, Paul, people, you can't see this, but Paul's, as a forward, he's laughing hysterically across the mic and was probably actually hoping I was in net at the time. And I was no small character like now.
You were, yeah.
I do think as a shooter, the bigger the goalie, like when I see a shootout, if one team has a huge goalie and the other one's small, I always say this team's going to win.
The huge goalie?
Yeah, because you look at that net and you're like, oh, man.
You see, he is taking the square. Yeah, but if you look at that English goalie.
Oh.
The guy from, he's not that big. He's not like the Italian goalie.
I like that description. If you look at the English goalie, which one? The one from England. That was, sorry.
There was a kid who played for Southern Maine. I think he graduated. Probably played from like 2015 to 2019. And he was 6'6". And they went in the tournament all the way to about the NCAA quarters.
Yeah.
They would tie a lot 0-0 and win the shootout. Or be 1-1, they'd win a shootout. He was the type of goalie. They were playing Babson. I was at the game. I said, they're going to win again. Look at the size of this kid. And everyone's trying to squeeze their shots, and they're missing. And
you also know why, too, right? You take a guy like that, and you make him play his line. You know, a lot of these goalies come off their line during the game, during regular play. In fact, there was a women's soccer game, shortest goal in soccer history. She kicked it in from the whistle to start the game. The goalie was out. She ran back, couldn't get it, went right in the middle of the net.
That was always my problem.
4 seconds
with Tim Howard. I don't know if you're
Tim Howard. Oh, he drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Drove me crazy. Yeah. And that's the first thing I look at when I go to college games. And I tell forwards like yourself, I say, hey, look, check the goalie out. If he's off his line, chip it over him. And I'll tell you, you come off your line about 4 yards, makes a huge difference. You put one of these big goalies on the line, he's got the corners covered, especially on direct kicks. Yeah. He's going to get 90% of them, 99% of them. But, it was a terrible record. Where were we, Dave? You got me sidetracked.
I'm moving on. Okay. I'm moving on to this. If Paul and I are correct and the Revolution do win, based on the fact that they're the best team and they have the best coach, and not that Taylor Twellman's retired, if they win, this could involve the Rev next year. MLS teams continue to struggle in the CONCACAF, CONCACAF, CONCACAF Nationals League Soccer. Is it Nationals League or National League?
I think it's just called CONCACAF Champions League.
CONCACAF Champions League. The key question is, what is CONCACAF? Paul.
That's the region that the U.S. plays in to qualify for World
Not
Cup.
North America. It's not like the European, where
it comprises North America and numerous smaller countries in Central America.
Central America.
Some islands, some other, I don't want to disparage any countries, tiny islands, and it's a big region.
Okay, this is you're back to you're back to your fascination with Trinidad and Tobago here.
Yes.
The islands that participate.
Yes.
So the CONCACAF. CONCACAF.
Keep saying it.
8 letters. CONCACAF.
It's like something you caught in high school, Dave.
Anyway, so you were talking about this last time.